So the crab dip is done. We're gonna dive in. All right, so Brian and Rose are back. We're gonna try our dessert now. Rose, go ahead. We're doing something a little bit different today, and we are gonna be cooking one of my family favorite recipes. It's called bibingka, or butter mochi as locals know it. So let's dive in really quickly and I'll show you how we do it. All right, so this recipe comes from my husband's side of the family. It's actually my Auntie Erning's bibingka recipe, and it's butter mochi. It's delicious. It's butterful, maybe it's like full of butter when you taste it, and it really has that delightful, squishy, chewy bite to it that we all know and love. And what I love about this recipe is it's extra thick. So I've seen people who make butter mochi really thin. Ours is thick and a mouthful, and you guys are gonna see the finished results. My favorite pieces are always the edge of the crust where it's extra crispy. So let's go over the ingredients really quick. What you're gonna need, it's super simple. It takes about 10 minutes to prep this and then about 45 minutes in the oven. So first off, you're gonna need 1 box of mochiko, which is rice flour. Then we're gonna have our 2 cups of white sugar, 1 block of room temperature butter. I've got 4 eggs here. I've got 1 can of coconut milk, 1 can of evaporated milk, of course some baking powder, and then 1 teaspoon of Hawaiian vanilla. And then we're just basically gonna whisk this all together, pour it in a pan, and bake it to perfection. So to start off, before we do anything, we're gonna preheat our oven to 375 degrees. I've got that going, but I also wanna get my pan ready to go so that once I've mixed everything, it's really easy. So in this case, I'm just using some spray here. So first thing, whenever we start a recipe, we usually cream our butter and sugars together. So I'm just simply gonna pour the 1 cube of butter and my sugar, 2 cups of sugar. And then we're just gonna combine these. I always love baking in the holidays. It just feels like Christmas. When you buy butter mochi, it's not the same. You have to make it at home. It makes the house smell amazing. This is like go-to, like we have this for all our family parties. It feels and tastes like home cooking, and it's so good. Okay, so once our butters and sugars are combined, we're gonna crack our eggs in. We've got 4 eggs here. And if you're watching this in Hawaii, if you didn't know, we do have local eggs. There's eggs in Waialua that you can get for super cheap, and also Shakamoa eggs in, Waianae. Really great discount on eggs instead of buying mainland eggs. Gotta support local. All right, then we're just gonna kind of combine these real quick with the sugar and the butter. And I don't know about you guys, if you have little kids, anytime my kids notice that I'm starting to bake, they instantly run into the kitchen and are like, can I help stir? So definitely get your kids involved. And fun fact, this recipe requires a certain number of stirs once we add everything together. And my kids always love counting the stirs. So this is a fun one. All right, we've got that combined. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we're combining vanilla here. And then from here, we are just gonna add all the remaining ingredients, and the very last step is the evaporated milk. So let's go with the mochiko next. Be careful when you dump this in, it can kind of give you a big poof of flour. But this is what all mochi is made out of. Not a lot of people know that unless you've done it before. So you can make all kinds of goodies with rice flour. All right. And we're gonna do our coconut milk here. And coconut milk and evaporated milk, condensed milk, these are all things that are just pantry staples when you live in Hawaii. So we'll pour this in. And then last but not least, I have my baking powder, 2 teaspoons of that. And we're gonna do our evaporated milk and regular milk combined. So this is where we do have to do a little bit of measuring. So the trick here is we're gonna do 1 entire can of evaporated milk. Shake it really good because it does settle over time. So give it like a good 20-second shake. And then I'm adding enough fresh milk to make 2 cups total. That's the trick. Okay. So 1 can gets me about 1.5 cups. And then I've just got my fresh milk to make 2. There we go. Okay, now let's just combine this a little bit to get it going. After I've gotten this all stirred in and evaporated milk mixed in, we are stirring for 300 stirs. This is Auntie's tried and true method, and I swear by it. It doesn't matter what we do. It just gets all of these rice flour clumps out. It comes out perfect every single time, and we get our math in for the day, so it's a win-win. Okay, let's just get this a little bit more combined. Okay, So let's add this in. This is kind of a recipe you can't break. So if you are not a proficient baker and you're just starting to try out your cooking skills, this is a fun one. And again, every party is gonna be like, oh, you made this? You made butter mochi? Okay, we're getting there. We're about halfway there. We can still see there's quite a bit of lumps. Sometimes it's butter, sometimes it's the rice flour. So occasionally I'll do a little smush action on the side. But again, it doesn't have to be perfection. We're just trying to get it as smooth as possible. It is impossible to get all the bumps out. So you're just aiming for as much as possible. 295, 96, 97, 99, 300. Okay, so from here, I'm actually gonna switch to a spatula because we don't wanna leave any goodness out. There's a little chunk from the spoon. We've got our 9x13 Pyrex pre-greased and ready to go. And we're just gonna simply pour it in. See, it's lumpy, but it's gonna cook through. So don't freak out that it's lumpy. And then the spatula gets the bowl real clean. Okay, so honestly from here, all we're gonna do is add it to the oven, put it on timer for 45 minutes. And the trick is to make sure it's really crispy on the edges. So if it hasn't started browning on the edge, I would put it in for an extra 5 minutes. All right, now that we've got this all ready, let's open our oven. We're just gonna put it right in the middle. Careful when you walk. And she's gonna cook 45 minutes. Okay, now we wait and we can multitask and we're gonna make some other things while we do that. All right, she's ready. I actually had to do an extra 5 minutes because it wasn't quite as brown as I wanted, but now she's done. So we just need to let it cool for about 10 minutes and then we can cut it and serve it. It's beautiful. Okay, so this is out of the oven. It's been cooling for about 30 minutes, so I can totally touch the pan now. You can see we've got nice crispy edges, which is exactly what we want. And then to serve it, 2 ways. 1, you can just serve it like this and literally cut it into cubes. Or 2, if you want it more individually sized, sometimes we put them into cupcake liners just for ease of it. But for now, I'm gonna cut these into about 1.5 inch cubes because I am gonna have some friends help me taste this. Oh my gosh, I can already tell this is like such a good batch. And because it's got that rice flour, it's nice and sticky, just like mochi. Let's get a couple big pieces here. And another option, if you don't like it sticking to the pan and you want less dishes, parchment paper is also a great idea. Okay, I think this is good to serve. So we'll take a quick break and have our friends join us. All right, so Brian and Rose are back. We're gonna try our dessert now. Again, this is a staple at every party, potluck, you name it. Like Brian, born and raised here, you grew up with this thing. So let's test it, and then I want you to give me a real review of how you think it is.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Right.
Rose, go ahead.
Ooh.
And the corners are fought over, like let me tell you. They're the
I went
crispiest
for
part.
that first.
Do we approve of Auntie's recipe?
This the top crunchiness, so that's really good. Is it Rice Krispie treat?
No.
Or it's just,
It's just the 300 stir method. That's what we do.
oh wow.
So it's very dense, mochi, sticky inside, and then the top almost has like a cracker topping just because the rice flour rises to the top. So I think that's when you stir it 300 times, you're getting extra air bubbles in there, and it's magic, I'm telling you.
It's almost like you have like the Rice Krispies on top of it.
I didn't add anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So approved by the local and by the friends. So we'll be back with another one. See you soon.